The final moments before Mercury concludes its retrograde cycle are not merely an ending, but rather the most critical time window. A moment when the universe challenges you to decide what will accompany you into the new chapter. During these 24 hours, the energy becomes extremely unstable, much like a psychological whirlwind that sweeps away everything you've yet to face. This is the phase of compressed karmic energy, when unfinished words, avoided commitments, or hidden truths suddenly appear as clearly as cracks on the wall of your soul. If left unresolved, they will turn into heavy baggage that drags you into the next cycle, manifesting as persistent conflicts, communication standstills, or a feeling of being trapped with no escape. Especially, do not be surprised if you suddenly undergo an unexpected emotional eruption. It could be an inexplicable burst of anger, a surge of overwhelming sadness, or tears flowing without clear reason. This is not a sign of weakness, but a warning from the universe. Unhealed wounds are demanding to be freed. This moment is like extracting a shard from a wound, painful but necessary for new, tender skin to form. Consider this a golden opportunity to cleanse your energy. Write a letter to someone to whom you still owe an apology. Cancel appointments you only agreed to because you were afraid to say no, or boldly say no to what leaves you drained. Every small action at this moment carries double the weight. They shape your spiritual genetic code for the next 3 months. Do not let this final chaos defeat you. Use it as the fire that forges your willpower. For after the fiercest downpour, the sky truly becomes clear. Mercury retrograde is often branded as the dark period riddled with mishaps, failures, and misunderstandings. Yet behind that chaotic facade, the universe is gifting you a golden opportunity. A soul audit meant to expose the hidden corners you have inadvertently or deliberately avoided. This isn't a curse, but rather a gracious trial that forces you to pause, gaze deeply into the mirror, and ask, what within me needs healing? When Mercury goes retrograde, 3 classic weaknesses are most vividly revealed. First, the habit of speaking before listening. You rush to judge and argue in order to defend your ego, forgetting that true understanding comes from listening. Those conversations that fall into silence or emails that are misinterpreted are not merely technical glitches. They are mirrors reflecting your impatience in communication. Second, the tendency to avoid the truth. You choose silence in moments when you should speak up, turn a blind eye to issues in your relationships, or delude yourself into thinking that everything is fine. Mercury retrograde shatters that illusion, forcing you to confront long-standing cracks. Third, blurred boundaries. You easily concede, allowing others to encroach upon your personal space, or, conversely, inadvertently impose your standards on others. The conflicts that erupt during this period are true alarm bells. You are losing the balance between giving and receiving. But don't let fear blind you. Mercury retrograde is the launchpad for establishing a new standard. Once your weaknesses are laid bare, you have the choice. Continue living with your outdated self, or rewrite your spiritual contract for yourself. Begin with the simplest step, balancing what you say with listening. Before rebutting, ask yourself, have I truly understood what they mean? When confronting painful truths, practice saying, I see, instead of, I think, to better connect with your intuition. And most importantly, learn to redraw your boundaries with respect, both for yourself and for others. Mercury retrograde is like a torrential downpour that washes away the dust from the window of your soul. Afterwards, New light filters through, and you realize what you once regarded as trouble is actually the tool to forge a stronger version of yourself. Don't curse the darkness. Ignite the flame of willpower from these lessons. In a world that constantly demands perfection, intentionally creating chaos may sound like an act of rebellion. Yet, this is actually a profound spiritual therapy ritual. The dance of chaos and rebirth. Begin by tearing apart your daily order. Throw clothes all over the room. Scribble wild, meaningless lines on paper. Purposely spill a glass of water, and then sit back to watch the water's messy flow. Don't stop there. Overturn everything you once arranged neatly, as if you were smashing the cage of control that you've built for yourself. Then, clean up while in a state of mindfulness. Every act of wiping down surfaces, folding clothes, or rearranging your books becomes a solemn vow to the universe. I am not afraid of losing control, because I know how to restore order. This process uproots the deep-seated obsession with mistakes, that which has imprisoned you in a false sense of security. When you deliberately plunge yourself into chaos, you prove that no storm is insurmountable. This is not merely a psychological exercise, but a ritual of energy transformation. The chaos you create is like the long-suppressed anger of a restrained child. It needs to be acknowledged, embraced, and then released. When you dare to dirty your pristine life, you come to realize perfection is not a shield, but a prison. In that fleeting moment of chaos, you discover the power of flexibility, the ultimate survival skill that the universe is teaching you. Remember, true magic does not come from what is perfectly arranged, but from the moment you dare to let yourself be swept along by the unpredictable flow, trusting that you can overcome the raging tide with your bare hands. In the most important moments of your life, you are never truly alone. The guidance of your spirit, your ancestors, and your highest self are silently watching from another dimension, like invisible judges scoring your life's performance. This is not a terrifying surveillance, but a multidimensional dialogue among the different versions of you, past, present, and future. They are not sitting there to pass judgment, but to note, how have you embraced the challenge of Mercury Retrograde? They consider three core aspects. What lesson have you deeply learned, whether it is to listen more intently or to have the courage to say no? What have you deliberately avoided? Perhaps a conversation with a loved one that is falling apart, or a promise made to yourself. And what have you shattered or rebuilt? A toxic habit discarded, or a new belief sown. Every choice you make now is a vote for the future, determining whether the next time gate will open with blessings or challenges. This evaluation is not a permanent sentence, but an energy map to help guide you. If you dare to confront your shortcomings, such as a lack of honesty or insufficient courage, the universe will provide you with more tools to improve. Conversely, if you continue to avoid them, the doors of opportunity will gradually close, replaced by the all-too-familiar path of fear. Imagine that you are writing a letter to yourself in both your past and future lives. Every action you take today is a message to both. I am striving to make you proud. Do not tremble before the invisible gaze. See them as the sternest teachers who love you most. In the final hours of Mercury Retrograde, the universe creates a rare time gap, a golden moment for you to unleash the truths that have been suppressed throughout the past cycle. This is not the time to deliberate over each perfect word, but the moment to boldly remove your mask and let your heart speak out. Whether it's a hidden confession of love, an apology you've been too afraid to voice, or the harsh truth about a toxic relationship. Remaining silent now is a poisonous remedy. When you continue to harbor the energy of silence, it does not vanish but transforms into a haunting ghost that torments your mind. The unsaid will accumulate like plaque in the arteries of your spirit, poisoning every future decision. They seep into your sleep, startling you in the middle of the night, or suddenly choke you during moments of joy. The end of Mercury Retrograde does not erase the past. It frames the present, turning every unfinished matter into an everlasting burden. But do not fear. The universe is granting you a sacred privilege, the supportive energy to speak your truth without fear of collapse. This window works as a platform, ensuring that your words hit straight to the heart of the listener, no matter how sharp they may be. Imagine standing before a field of energy. Each truth you release will sprout into a tree, while silence will harden into barren pebbles. If you do not speak now, you are locking yourself into a new cycle with a suitcase full of secrets. Let this final Mercury retrograde be the catalyst for liberation, because beyond this door, only the truth will have wings. Mercury retrograde is not only a time to mend mistakes, but also an opportunity to awaken the dreams that have long been dormant. Ask yourself, what have I hastily abandoned when things became too complicated? It might be that exciting business idea you once sketched out and then left behind. An important conversation with a loved one postponed out of fear of confrontation, or a personal project waiting for that elusive moment of perfection that never arrives. These things don't vanish. They merely lie dormant in the dark corners of your mind, waiting for a ray of light to awaken them. Don't rush to revive everything at once. Instead, view them as seeds that need to be tested for vitality. Hold that business idea in your hands and feel if it still makes your heart race. Try to touch upon that unspoken conversation and see if the fear is as great as you imagined. Place your hand on the unfinished project and listen to see if it still resonates with your current energy. If there is something that makes you sigh with relief when you think about it, that is the missing piece that needs to be reborn. Choose one and take action immediately, no matter how small. Send a message to check in with an old partner. Rewrite the opening line of your plan, or simply schedule that important conversation. Mercury retrograde has forced you to pause and reflect. Now is the time to turn defeat into opportunity. Don't let what could be remain forever, if only. Transform them into in progress. Imagine standing before a slab of wet concrete. Every movement, fingerprint, or crack you create will be permanently etched as it hardens. The final 24 hours of Mercury retrograde are a similar moment. The energy, thoughts, and actions you take now will form the foundation for a new cycle. This is not the time to rush through life, but rather to move like a tightrope dancer. Every step is decisive. If you spend these moments nurturing grudges, complaining, or sinking into negativity, the next cycle will feel like a dark room full of jagged edges, where every plan encounters invisible obstacles. Conversely, if you focus on positive intentions, you are coding your future with the language of proactivity. For instance, a sincere thank you sent today might open the door to a collaboration next week. Tidying up a cluttered workspace could spark a surge of creativity. Seize the binding agent of this moment by lighting a candle as a ritual to ignite your resolve, writing your goals by hand so that energy permeates each letter, or talking with your future self in the mirror. I am doing everything to make you proud. Even a simple act like watering a plant becomes a vow. I nurture life both in the soil and in my heart. Do not let time slip away meaninglessly like sand through your fingers. Touch everything with intense awareness, from your thoughts to physical matter. For when Mercury aligns, everything will harden. And do you want to stand on a solid foundation or sink into the mire you've created? The choice is in your hands right now. Suddenly falling tears without a clear reason are not a sign of weakness, but a rain that washes away wounds once thought buried. When Mercury retrograde ends, its chaotic energy is like a strong wind blowing away the dry leaves that cover the cracks in your soul. These tears are the detox flow, the way your body exhales painful memories, repressed emotions, or unnamed fears. The deep cause lies in an energy shift. Mercury retrograde brings fragments of your spirit from the hidden corners to the surface of consciousness. You might weep for a long-past love, for a promise forgotten, or even for the once innocent version of yourself from years ago. This is not a setback, but a spiritual cleansing, tears transforming into a catalyst that purges the dead emotional cells. The simplest yet most powerful way to handle this is to let the tears flow freely. Do not rush to wipe them away. Do not ask, why? Instead, regard them as a downpour that cleanses the plants after a long, scorching day. Every tear carries a heavy piece of the past, making room for relief and new space. You will find it strange that after crying, your mind becomes suddenly clear, like a sky that clears after a storm. Embrace these tears as your body's self-healing gift. When you courageously allow them to flow, you are rewriting your life story, transforming from a victim of pain into an artist reborn from your own fractures. Once Mercury officially ends its retrograde, you are not simply turning to a new page, you are stepping onto the universe's invisible launching pad. Every thought, action, and bit of energy you invested over the past 24 hours now becomes the fuel propelling your next journey. If you have used that time to plant seeds of awareness, by clearing your mind, actively healing, or igniting a spark of creativity, the new cycle will unfold like a fertile field greeting the morning sun. Conversely, if you slip back into old habits, procrastination, blame, or wallowing in darkness, you will find yourself trapped in a cycle like a wheel stuck in place. The magic lies in this. What you touch today, you will reap tomorrow. Here, touch isn't merely a physical act, but the way you engage with ideas, emotions, and relationships. A word of encouragement sent now may rekindle a friendship once thought dormant. A hastily scribbled plan in the night might evolve into the blueprint for your dream job. Even spending 10 minutes meditating is like laying the first brick of your inner tower of peace. The key advice: walk like a potter, molding the future. Do not let routine automatically steer you into a rut. When you feel like giving up, ask yourself, what picture am I painting for myself a month from now with this action? Even the smallest mindful choice, from your breakfast to a simple greeting, adds a brushstroke that beautifies the canvas of your life. Mercury has aligned. Now is the time to unfurl your sails and catch the new wind, confident that no effort is ever wasted. Thank you for taking the precious time to listen to these messages. Every second you spend here is a cosmic sign that you are ready for change. If this video touches your heart, click subscribe right now, not only to avoid missing our next journey of discovery, but also as a way to send a signal to the universe. I agree to join this grand adventure. Every subscription of yours isn't merely a number. It's an energetic bridge connecting a community of souls who dare to live consciously. Please share your experiences in the comments, whether it's a story about a strange dream, a decision you bravely made, or even a lingering fear that still clings to you. This is not just a meeting place, it's a sacred roundtable where every share becomes a guiding light for someone else. Don't hesitate. Your sincerity might just be the remedy that saves a soul who's lost their way. Remember, your energy determines the future. Every thought and action today is a brick in the castle of tomorrow. Live as if you are a mage shaping reality, alert, courageous, and brimming with faith. The universe awaits your brilliance, not through perfection, but through the courage to be yourself. Click subscribe to join us in continuing the story of souls daring to change the world, starting with themselves. You are not just an audience. You are the great designer of your own destiny. What did you touch today? Tomorrow, the universe will return it to you 100-fold.